Dr. John D'Ambrosio, broadcasting live from Structural Chiropractic, and we are talking about resolutions today. And as you could tell by the little mix we had up front and our friend here, that 2020 was quite the show, and we're glad to be finishing up with it. But 2021 is going to be much better. I have a feeling in my heart, and I want to help everybody here make it better by going over the much heralded and later much lamented resolution list. We all come up with resolutions. I personally am not a fan of New Year's resolutions. I used to be when I was younger, and then I thought, why wait till New Year's to actually start fresh when you could do it at any day during the year? So anytime there's something that I strive a new goal, I just start it right then, and I move forward. But a lot of people still like the tradition of New Year's, so I'm going to give you a few pointers to make New Year's resolutions actually stick. And I know you probably hear this, the internet, the newspapers and magazines are always flooded with these things around this time. But I figured, I went through all the lists, or as many lists as possible, and I picked out what I felt were the best pointers to help everybody get their resolutions done and move on, instead of looking back with regret, looking forward and saying, I want to continue to progress. So without further ado, I do have them written down. First is, it seems pretty apparent, but pick something you want. And why is that important? Because if you say, well, I want to lose 50 pounds, but you really don't want to lose the weight. You're happy where you are, but you just feel like, society says you need to do this, or you want to be a faster runner, but you hate running, but it's just, you feel like it's something you should do. You're really probably not going to stick with it. You have to really pick something that you really want to do with all your heart, because again, if it's something that you're not into, you're probably not going to stick with it. It's just going to be something you do, and the first opportunity you have to fall off that wagon, boom, you're lying in the dirt and watching the wagon take off. So we do not want that. So again, pick something you want. Follow that up with, you have to keep it real. The example I gave before is, you say you want to lose 50 pounds. Well, losing 50 pounds is great, but then you need to set a realistic expectation for that, because you can't say I want to lose 50 pounds by February 1st. You need to have a goal that is realistic, and regardless of what that goal is, whether it's make an extra $100,000, or lift more weight, to increase your bench press by 25 pounds, or anything along those lines. You want to keep it realistic, because again, if you set an unrealistic goal, you're going to get frustrated, and again, boom, off the wagon again. You want to be able to have a goal that's realistic that you're going to reach, and then once you reach that goal, you can set a new goal that's a little further down the road. So say you do want to lose 50 pounds. I mean, that's a pretty hefty goal to pick, even if you set a realistic time frame. So you could say, well, I want to lose 5 pounds a month, and then figure out, okay, to lose 5 pounds a month, let me break that down. There's 3,500 calories in a pound. How much is that every day? If I decrease my intake by a certain number of calories and increase my expenditure through exercise by a certain amount, what does that look like on paper, so I know exactly the steps I need to get there. So you need to keep it real and be specific is the next part of that, and that was kind of what I glazed over here. You can't just say I want to lose weight, or I want to be more fit, or I want to make more money, because if you do those things, what happens? It's vague. You have no real target to shoot at. So you've got this big barn, and you're shooting at the barn, but what does that mean? You want a target on the barn, a horseshoe that you're going to hit, and you're going to hear the bing, and you're going to hit that target. So you need to keep it specific. So if you want to lose weight, pick a number of pounds you want to lose. If you want to make more money, pick a dollar amount. If you want to lift more weight, pick a specific poundage or kilograms or something like that. If you want to run faster, again, pick something and shoot for that. And you need to plan that. Plan that with little steps. So like I said, with the poundage example, you need to then break it down. So no matter what you do, you want to break it down into little steps, because if you make it digestible, where you could take a bite, and move on instead of trying to shove the whole thing in, you're going to be more likely to reach that goal. So what does that look like as far as, say, making more money? So say you want to make more money, you say, I want to make an extra $10,000 a year. So then, okay, you have a goal, it's a realistic goal, and you're very specific. Now, how are you going to plan it out so you can say, okay, what are the steps it's going to take me? How much do I need to make extra a week or a month? What are my options for doing that? Is it something as simple as, doing something online, getting a part-time job, remote part-time job? There's a lot of that going around right now where your hours can be flexible. Is it something, if you're younger, maybe delivering papers? People still do that. So I know there's, people actually read papers. I don't know many people who do, but you're still, delivering the papers. Say, okay, this is the salary. And you could start looking at jobs or things that you could do, starting an Etsy business or something like that, and say, well, this is where I need to start. Realistically, these are my steps. For me to end up making this much money over the course of a year, this is where I need to be. So it's those little steps. And as you're taking those little steps, this is probably the most important part of everything I'm going to tell you right now. And I learned this from a mentor of mine, Sean Dill, and it's key. Reward yourself, and don't mess around and say, okay, if I lose 5 pounds, I'm going to buy myself a new pair of shoes, and then you lose 5 pounds and you don't do it, because your mind and body need to be able to then experience the endorphins from that reward to be able to then move forward even further. So always, as you plan your steps, plan rewards along the way. You can have little rewards for each step, and then once you hit a bigger goal, a bigger reward. But it needs to be something that you are excited about, and you do follow through with the reward. There cannot be any excuses. You hit the goal, you reward yourself. If you do not do that, everything will fall apart. And if you do that, you're going to snowball and you're going to hit your goals faster, because you're just building up that mental clarity and that whole internal system of moving forward, because it becomes such a positive experience for you. And the last piece of this is forget about perfection. Again, the same mentor actually had taught me this. It's better done than perfect. And some people have these goals, and they're great goals, but then they are very regimented in how they're going to reach that, to a point where if they veer off a little bit, they give up. Like, for example, if you're trying to lose weight, and you say, okay, I'm going to cut this many calories a day, and I'm going to exercise this much a day, do some cardio, so I have this number of calories in a deficit, and then one day you're out with friends, and you say, oh, what the heck, I'm going to, have some appetizers, I'm going to have, a couple of drinks, and then you're like, you know what, I messed the whole thing up, I'm done with this, that's it. It's over, I blew it. That's not the case. You still then get back on the wagon and say, okay, I've been doing great up to this point. I messed up a little bit. Better done than perfect. I'm getting back on, and I'm going to continue, and I'm going to move forward. Don't let the little stumbling blocks make you feel that you're imperfect and you messed up, because that is a huge mistake. So you always want to be, again, better done than perfect. Just continue to forge forward and do what you need to do to get there. And if along the way you have a few failures, you have a few stumbles, you backslide a little bit, recognize it and keep going. And before you know it, you're going to hit those goals. So just a quick recap. Pick something that you actually want to accomplish. Don't pick something that somebody else wants you to accomplish, that you feel society wants you to accomplish. Pick something that you want to accomplish, because then you're going to be more motivated. Keep it realistic. You don't want it to be something that's, I want to learn to flap my arms and fly, or I want to lose 100 pounds in a month. Keep it realistic so you can stick with it. Be very specific. Again, you don't want to say, I want to lose weight, or I want to make more money. You need to have specific numbers that you have to work for. Plan it out with little steps. Each step you move along the way, reward yourself for it. So again, you're very specific, you have the steps, and as you hit each goal, you reward yourself. And again, forget about perfection, just do it. So I hope that these hints or pointers, help you out, help you reach your goal to make 2021 your best year yet, your healthiest year yet, your most fit year yet, your most financially prosperous year yet, and your happiest year yet. So please, if you have any questions, feel free to ask and keep me posted on this. If you have goals, sometimes putting your goals out there kind of is a commitment. You're saying, okay, I'm putting it out there for other people to see. It kind of holds you accountable because now it's in black and white. So if that's something you want to do, feel free to post your goals there. I'll check back and leave some encouragement for you, and everybody else, encourage one another. This is what life is about. We're building each other up, not tearing each other down. So closing up, Dr. John Ambrosio, again from Structural Chiropractic, home of the Gentle Adjustment, and it's a little early, but have a happy new year.